Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Good evening. I want to take this moment to bring you a special message that has become an annual tradition in our nation. Every president, dating back to Calvin Coolidge in 1927, has kicked off the United Way campaigns, first on radio and then on national television. With your support, the more than 2,000 United Way campaigns will raise over $2 billion to make possible the work of 37,000 voluntary groups and over 30 million volunteers, the largest single voluntary effort in our nation. But the United Way is much more than just a fundraising campaign. It's America at its best, a system of local voluntary participation, of people helping each other in their communities, from government to corporations to unions, mom and pop stores and schools and churches, all working together. Earlier this year, I spoke of a second American Revolution, of a nation and people living freer, stronger, and more secure. That freedom in our lives has never been more evident. We are already nurturing new seeds of prosperity through a rebirth of economic growth. But tonight, I'd like to report on an even more basic and vital part of that revolution, a revolution of spirit, of volunteer spirit. Our way of life and our tradition of neighbor helping neighbor are only possible because of our unique American system, a precious freedom that ensures individual volunteer action, people freely working together to help each other. This renewal of volunteerism can be seen throughout our nation. Between 1980 and 1984, for example, total giving in our country rose by 51% to a record $74 billion. And that number happens to be greater than the gross national product of more than half the nations of the world. Over the past 4.5 years, the American people have gained new confidence in themselves and a new optimism about our nation's future. And in every instance, from the boardrooms of corporations to the waiting rooms of human service agencies, it's the individual volunteer and the basic voluntary act that exemplifies our responsibility and caring for our fellow man. Most of these people aren't famous. You probably wouldn't recognize them if you saw them. They're just everyday Americans. But make no mistake, they're heroes, real American heroes. One such hero is Irv Klein. For years, Mr. Klein rode his bicycle around New York City, clearing vacant lots and planting gardens and flowers to replace wine bottles, beer cans, and trash. With the help of United Way venture grants, Mr. Klein and neighborhood groups turned 6 acres of abandoned lots into the largest urban vegetable garden in New York City. Now, low-income families grow vegetables, and inner-city children pick strawberries they themselves have planted. All because Irv Klein, helped along by United Way, made things happen. The United Way is working to make things happen in a city hospital, where doctors, pharmacists, and other healthcare professionals are volunteering their time so that needy individuals can receive adequate health care. Requests for medical services are coordinated through the United Way's hotline, information, and referral center, linking patients with physicians who have volunteered to take their cases. The services provided by the United Way exemplify the willingness and generosity of our people. So tonight, to all the United Way volunteers, to all of you starting up campaigns in your towns and cities, to all the countless volunteer agencies providing professional services to people in need, and to all who care and give so much, my heartfelt thanks. You are guardians of our greatest treasures, the good and decent and noble virtues of the American heart. Our nation will not be measured as much by its power or wealth as by the simple generosity and sense of justice of a people who believe in the freedom and dignity of each individual. As anthropologist Margaret Mead once observed, if you look closely, you will see that almost anything that really matters to us, anything that embodies our deepest commitment to the way human life should be lived and cared for, depends on some form, more often many forms, of volunteerism.